What's up, y'all? What's up? Welcome to the Pugilistic Linguistic Show. I am your host, Michael Foster, the voice of reason in an increasingly unreasonable world, and I am back. Before I get started, like I say all the time, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when new episodes drop. Interact with the podcast. Come out in the comments and tell me how crazy I am, how much I'm full of it. Or tell me how much you agree. That's fine too. Word of mouth is a monster. YouTube does not promote this podcast. It's not an algorithm yet. I'm too small. But if I can get you all to just say something to one person and that person says something to two people and those people say something to four people and so on, we can get this thing out to the masses, which is good. So today I'm going to speak on one of our icons. The thing about black people, we are really an interesting people from the standpoint of how much we revere our icons, how much we extol them, how much we put them on pedestals, how much we love them. We love our icons. We love our famous people. But that being said, I don't believe that precludes us from calling a spade a spade. It shouldn't, or better yet, it should not allow them carte blanche to just do whatever they want with impunity without checking somebody. Just because you're one of our icons does not mean you can just do on anything you want without getting checked. At least it shouldn't be that way. I've said before and I'll say again, nobody's above reproach. Anybody can be checked, and everybody should be checked at one point or another. So I'm gonna go after one of our icons, and I'm sure that won't do anything to help me get this podcast out to the masses. But so what? Right is right, wrong is wrong. And this person was wrong. Now, before I name this person and get into the crux of what I'm here for, it's been long said that this person is not really for us. I would say any longer, but that's saying any longer assumes that she ever was for us. And just seeing how this person moves, that's a legitimate question. Has she ever been for us? We don't. I'm really starting to question that. But she has moved a certain way in public and in private, per people who have been impacted by her moves. She's moved a certain way that has been detrimental to a lot of people in this community. And that's a problem. I've heard of shady back office deals. I've heard of blackballing some people. I've heard a lot of things. And again, people have access to grind. People have, you know, bones to pick with other people. So sometimes You have to consider your source, the one who's saying this, but sometimes you have to consider, what axe do they have to grind? Sometimes. But I've always said if more than one person says the same thing about you in different times, then it's probably true. And a lot of people have said similar things about this woman at different times. And a lot of these stories are remarkably consistent. The person I'm speaking about is Oprah. Let's just stop blueballing you. Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. Now, the thing about Oprah, she's really an interesting case study because if you really, from the surface, from the exterior, you look at her, she's a successful, powerful black woman who has the power to put people on and has put some people on and what have you. But then you look just slightly below the surface and you're like, she moves kind of different. This is some kind of undercurrent of, I really can't trust this woman there. Now, in all fairness, I don't know Oprah. Ain't never met her a day in my life. And the thing is, and I think that the thing about celebrity, and not just black celebrity in general, we see the public persona. We see what they project externally to the world. And we tend to think that's who they are. We don't know these people. We never know these people. We know what they want us to see. And we have to be careful because, for example, let's go off on a tangent for a second. I am not a fan of these exposés of celebrity. Usually they're done after their death. I'm not a fan. Not because I don't want the truth. I love the truth. But it's because they ruin the image of these people that I've created for myself. So the truth ruins the image that I've built. And I hate that. Even though it's necessary, I hate that. Exposés of Bob Barker, let's say. Now, don't get me wrong. He ain't my daddy or nothing like that, but I like Bob Barker. At least what I saw of him on The Price is Right. But now the expose comes out that he didn't really like black people and he limited how many could be on the show at a given time and his serial sexual abuse and all that. It just ruined the image of Bob Barker that I put in my head from watching him all those years. It's just, damn, not Bob. That kind of thing. That's the thing about Oprah. It's the public perception of Oprah was this altruistic, I'm here for the average woman, the average black woman, or whatever. The image that she portrayed on her show is really the only image we had of her. But what has Oprah done to trigger this diatribe against her? Well, let me tell you what she did. Apparently, her and her girl, Gayle King, who's another one that I just don't like. They just strike me as mean girls. I don't like Gayle King. She's messy. But her and Gayle got together. I don't even know what I don't know what the show was they were on, or I don't know the medium that they were on, but somehow or another during this conversation between the two, Whitney Houston comes up in conversation. And Oprah speaks about a time where Whitney was on her show. And per Oprah, Whitney was so high that she fell off the stage. Now, that statement bothered me to no end because Whitney is another one of our icons. And we are hyper protective of her because we as a people understand that Whitney had some demons. Whitney had a lot of demons. That made her a sympathetic figure to us, and it makes us want to protect her even more, especially in her death, because she can't defend herself any longer. But we are very protective of our icons, especially after their death. And Oprah and Gayle crossed the line. Like, the question becomes, why? Why? What does that do for you, Oprah? Other than tarnishing the image of another black icon. We knew Whitney got high. That ain't nothing new to us. And we loved her in spite of it. If for no other reason, because we knew she was a flawed individual. Hell, we're all flawed, but she had public flaws. And it made us embrace her even more. But why does that come out of your mouth, Oprah? What does that do for you? What do you get out of dragging another black icon through the mud unnecessarily? Whitney gone. What do you get out of it? Other than a sense of superiority. Look, Oprah, I distinctly remember you on AM Chicago back in the late 80s, taking over from a dude named Rob Weller on Channel 7, when you had that messed up afro and you were homely as all get out. I remember that. I remember your demons when you couldn't keep weight off. You were fat Oprah. You were thin Oprah. You were fat Oprah. You were thin Oprah. I remember your very public battles with weight. And the killer is, us as black people, we embraced that in you because we understood. We all got something that we are battling with. So that humanized you to us. And we cheered for you. Not necessarily to lose weight, but to be wherever you were happiest. Yet, you take that and you shit on one of our icons, acting as if you didn't have your demons. I mean, let's not get into the rumors about your love life and stuff like that. Let's not. But we understood and we cheered for you. Only to have you turn around and shit on one of our icons. You thought that giving away cars and shit on your show bought you a forever amount of goodwill. That you can do anything now. No. There's certain people you can't shit on. In spite of their own private and personal, maybe even public demons. And you've crossed the line now. Let's forget about the black iconness of it. She was another black woman. And this goes to prove the point that I've said for years. Women hate women. Y'all talk shit about men nowadays and how men don't know. No, women hate women. And it seems to be, I don't care how rich and powerful you are, you will break your neck to bring another woman down. You're wrong. And the kicker is no amount of apologizing is going to fix this, Oprah. No amount of apologizing is going to fix this. Because you are already suspect. This just proved it to us. You were already suspect. Your movements with Lee Daniels and your movements with Tyler Perry and how y'all treated Monique and all that. Your movements are already suspect. This just proved it. But again, for the life of me, I'm trying to wrap my brain around what do you get out of this? You think we're going to love you more if we like Whitney's less? You really think that's how this works? We're going to love you more if we like Whitney less? There are certain people that you can't touch. And better yet, you shouldn't. And I think you just hit it. It's a shame, though. Because from what I understand, or I shouldn't say what I understand, from what I've seen externally, she ain't done nothing to you. So what, she was high? She had shit she was dealing with. When you were going through your constant fat, thin cycle, how would you have liked it if somebody iconic at that time would have made fun of you? Man, I took Oprah out to dinner one night and she couldn't keep shoveling food out. She couldn't stop from shoveling food down her throat. How would you have liked that? Somebody with some power would have said that. How would you have liked it? So it's just, you know what, Oprah, you just, I don't mess with you no more. And there are a lot of black people that I've heard lately say they're about done with you. And probably rightly so. She ain't for us. She ain't for us. She's not one of us. She signals to her, I don't know if she's reached a status to where she doesn't need the Hollywood elite to keep propping her up, but let's say she does. She definitely lets them know that she is for them. She is still in their pockets. And Gail's just a hanger-on. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gail has her own career, but she's most widely known as Oprah's best friend, or so-called best friend. I ain't going nowhere else with that. So, you dead to me, Oprah. I don't fuck with you. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who feel the same way I do these days. And I'm sure you don't care. As well, you probably shouldn't. But the bottom line is, there are a lot of us that have turned our backs on you. Will it impact you? No. But still, just because it won't impact you don't mean we shouldn't do it. But watch out for people who position themselves as one thing, but they're really something else. Protect your icons. Because they are just as flawed as we are. They just do it more in the public eye. So, I said what I said. I mean what I mean. And y'all can feel a certain kind of way about it. That's fine too. But through all the things that I've said, through all the things I say on this microphone in any episode that I have, I challenge you to do one thing. You may not like what I say. That's fine. You may not agree with what I say. That's also fine. But I want you all to point out the lie. If you can sit there and point out the lie, we can have a conversation. But just coming with feelings, I didn't like that. You're wrong. Okay, that's fine. Point out the lie. So, I'm going to get on down now. I'm just something that was on my mind. Decided to get out before I forgot it. Like I said, tell your friends, tell your Romans, tell your countrymen about this podcast. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when new episodes drop. And until we meet again, like I say all the time, be good to each other, because we all we got. Peace.